I see what ho, chaps and chappets, Game Chap and Bertie here. Yes, fellows, and I dare say we are now investigating the newly released Optifine from Minecraft 1.8, the latest version. That's right, I dare say Optifine is designed to offer you an enhancement and a performance boost of sorts, bringing your game speed up considerably, and we're going to put it to the test, you know.
We most certainly are. Now, apparently, as you say, it's a rather clever thing because it gives you better improvements of speed all across different environments in your game.
That's right.
We're going to use loads of different tests to put it to the test and put it in the scales to see if it really works.
That's right. Many people have said Minecraft 1.8, whilst very good, does lag sometimes, particularly on higher render distances. Yeah. So, fellows, to give you an idea, what we're going to be doing is this. In our video settings, as you can see, we are currently configured for 24 chunks render distance, a max frame rate of 120 frames a second, and most other settings there are set at their defaults, although bitmaps are turned off for this test.
Right.
So, as you can see, that's what we're going to be using. Now, buddy, what's the first test subject, old chap?
We're going to test a large statue 24 chunks or something, I think.
That's right, by our notes. Now observe it. No, it's this way, old chap.
What?
Goodness me. Observe it, we are going to just change worlds here, and I believe we should pop along to the let's go there. DVC is a rather good statue build, you know. As you can see, we're going to use this world for the purpose of testing the lag. Now, just a moment. Let's turn that frame rate checker on.
Well, I can't
As you can see, we are loading quite fast here, old chap. Yes, but the frame rate there is about 40 frames per second on average, I'd say.
Right, well, hang on, because we've better explain to all the chaps that this test here is not with Optifine. So we're currently not in Optifine, and when we've done this, we'll test exactly the same world in Optifine.
This is Minecraft 1.8 vanilla, and indeed it's going too fast for Bertie to join. But of course, as you can see, we have between 40 and 50 frames a second on world loading, and you can tell when the world's loading because it has their chunk updates next to the frames per second. So we haven't quite got a perfect frame rate. Now, of course, that's on a 24 chunk. Now, indeed, I dare say the author of Optifine did mention that he felt some of the Mojang's Minecraft code was perhaps not fully optimized for, shall we say, optimum performance. So indeed, it seems he's released Optifine to perhaps remedy that.
Don't worry, Uncle Bill and his team will sort all that out with the PC version, I'm sure.
Uncle Bill, yes, well, I'm sure. But indeed, the question is, will this stack up to the Optifine performance? Let's find out, old chap.
Yes, now let's see.
Right, fellows, now here we are in the Optifine Minecraft, and we're going to go to that same statue, as you can see here, and just see what a difference we have in terms of extreme render distance on, well, actually 24 chunks. So
24 chunks,
there they are. They're loading quite smoothly at first glance, but let's get the chunks set to 24 on far as they are now. Now observe our Optifine settings are that chunk loading is on multi-core, which is quite fast and smooth and stable loading. VBOs are off and other settings are as with Minecraft. In performance we have fast math on, smooth world on, and various other settings to optimize the game's speed and loading. So bitmaps once again turn off there, and let's see what happens here if we just reload those chunks, because of course we'll go to just turn them down and up there to simulate the reloading process, and as you can see, we are locked at a stable and steady 60 frames a second, nay 120 or now.
That's 120 frames per second, Captain. It's going to stay like this.
That's very smooth, fellows. Now, of course, the game is currently subject to a hard limit of 120 frames per second as configured in the options file, but I do believe our frame rate here on the whole is much better than before.
There's no doubt it's better, yes, definitely. Far better.
Of course, the figures themselves have loaded very, very fast there, as you can see. It is struggling perhaps a tad on loading the chunks down here, but what matters, of course, is that the immediate area around me, the player, the chunks in my immediate vicinity, are of course loaded, and I have a nice stable frame rate when milling around doing various mining, etc. and so forth. And of course, generally, the chunks way out there, you won't see those as you're playing in this particular part of the world anyway. So what counts here, the frame rate has been stabilized a lot. He's done a jolly good job, you know.
Most certainly. Uncle Bill, he'll add that, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed, I say. So there you are, videos. Now, of course, the next test, what is that in the vanilla version here?
Now, in the vanilla version, yes, the next test will be, let's look at a world, 32 chunks.
A good idea. Of course, we are going to go to the village once more, videos, to show you on the back of that previous test what a world will look like at a 32 chunk render distance.
Now what does that mean? That's a very long way, is it?
Yes, 32 chunks is of course extreme. Now to do this, videos, please be advised you may need to set your memory allocation of Minecraft for 2 gigabytes rather. If you don't know how to do that, a quick search on the internet should turn up the information.
2 gigabytes?
I'm going to crank it up to 32 chunks, which is a huge long distance, you know, and let's see how it handles it,
You've got 128 megs.
Of course you have, old chap. Now, 40 frames a second, as you can see, and there's many, many chunk updates going on there. Let's see just how laggy this bloody thing can get.
Right, okay, yes, this is without, isn't it?
This is, of course, in vanilla Minecraft. I'm seeing, I'd say it's quite smooth, old boy, considering it's loading chunks. We must, of course, test both a regular world and a new world for this, old chap.
Oh, yes, you do, yes.
As you can see, though, as it gets further and further out there, the frame frame rate is dropping quite a bit there. We have 30 frames per second, although of course the extreme distance is very, very demanding resource-wise. It's time, Vales, for the 32 chunk test in Optifine, I say.
Yes,
and let's
check
look
it
here. We have 32 extreme chunk rendering, you know.
Yes,
now, let's just take a look. Ah, yes, it's struggling perhaps a tad more with extreme, as you can see there. No, indeed, it doesn't like that quite as much. Now, bear in mind, we have allocated 2 gigabytes of memory to Minecraft for this purpose, because it takes its time and perhaps a bit of milling around in the loading process. But it's not too bad. Oh, we've already reached, I say, 96.
96 there.
That
50.
wasn't bad. No,
Better.
we have 50 on the hill. Once again, it's quite a more stable frame rate. And bear in mind, although we're on someone's fingertip here, we are in fact very, very high up off the ground. So, of course, it doesn't give a truly fair picture. If we go down to ground level, for example, to this house, you can see that even on extreme render distance, we have a nice, stable, and very playable frame rate with Optifine installed.
Oh, it's impressive then. It's much better.
I think we definitely have a winner here, old chap. Let's go back to the regular one.
Right, okay, yes.
Right, so there you are, Fiddles. Now, what's the next test in vanilla Minecraft, old chap?
Most certainly, that was rather interesting. Now, we know fire causes problems, so why don't we set fire to a village in a jungle somewhere? Loads of fire!
We're going to burn one?
Yes, burn.
Let's just burn the jungle, shall we, old chap? For goodness sake,
No, we'll do the village as well.
Come and give me a hand then, man.
Well, it's got extra things in it.
Now, of course, as you know, particularly on hard mode, fire can cause a few problems indeed. So let's give that a try and see what we can do here in terms of reducing the FPS. And we're going to compare this once more to the Optifine version of this particular game. So we're just going to keep an eye on our frame rate counter as we're going here. And of course, the more fire we place down, the more burning it's going to get you now.
The more fire, the more burning. Yes, does it keep burning? Yes,
it's a name, is it, Bernie, I think, Elja?
Burning, burning, yes.
Now, we currently have, Fiddles, a 35 to 36 frames a second. So once again, not many frames at all. And indeed, as that fire spreading, I do think it's having an effect on our counter here. Yes, indeed, the frame rate just won't go above about 40.
Right, we'll get on to the village then.
Well, not the village, old boy, we can't do that.
Can't we? Oh, yes, of course you can, because it's just testing purposes, you see. There's no one there, I'm sure.
I won't burn any villages, thank you, old boy. But you can get the general idea, Fiddles. Indeed, we are seeing here 37 frames per second or thereabouts. That appears to be the average.
We haven't got enough fire yet.
I see it's dropping again, old boy. 27 now, you know. 21, it's going down, I say.
What? More fire, please, more fire. Come on, burn it away.
Yes, we can't burn too much, old boy. We'll grind our machine to a halt, I say.
Where are you? I can't get in.
As you can see, Fiddles, we are indeed starting to see an awful lot of lag here now. The fire certainly is taking its toll, I dare say. Look at that, old boy.
Oh, it is. Look at that.
6 frames a second, old chap.
It's beginning to spread throughout the entire village. Ha ha!
Now we've done this burning, Fiddles, let's swap over to Optifine once more and see what effect that has. Now, Fiddles, observe we are just going back once more into the jungle village to observe the effect of the fire on 24 chunks in Optifine, I say. And let's see, we have loaded and we have here. Yes, indeed, it's faster, old chap.
It is almost faster.
Oh, yes, indeed, I have to say, Fiddles, hands down, that beats the previous Minecraft version there. So we have 42 and, 43, 52. Yes, indeed, the frame rate here is good. It's very sound.
So you can, let's set loads of things on fire now, and it's absolutely spiffing.
And the fire has spread now, so
what good news?
We are starting to appreciate here a nice, smooth frame rate, even with lots and lots of fire burning away.
Yes, because you need lots of fire, see, in Minecraft.
Oh, do you?
Yes, of course.
Well, if you say so, Elja. But there you are, Fiddles. Optifine wins this round hands down again.
It most certainly does.
Next test, I say.
Yes.
So there you are, Fiddles. That, of course, was fire in vanilla and Optifine. And what's next, Elja?
This is rather interesting. Right, and now we should have a massive, huge explosion of mobs. Mobs can cause negatives, loads of them.
No, I suppose they can, Elja.
Let's see how it stands up. Let's do one test now outside of Optifine and then one in.
That's a good idea. So what we're going to do here is, Bertie, where are you?
I can't get in. I'm waiting to get in.
Come on, man. Right, as you can see, Fiddles, indeed, we have prepared here a device that can spawn huge amounts of mobs at a moment's notice. And of course, they are hostile mobs, so we can very quickly turn it back on to peaceful mode to get rid of them.
Where are you? Because I've got to make the machine work, haven't I?
No, I'll do that. Thank you, old chap.
Press the button.
No, really.
I can press buttons.
It's quite right, old boy. Let's have a look, Fiddles. As you can see, this device, 3, 2, 1, tally ho, old chap, and there we are. Now, watch the FPS as these blighters spawn in, 22 and dropping, Fiddles, as you can see, 25, I think. And indeed, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of creepers spawning in by the jolly second, I think, old chap. There's huge amounts, and certainly we are starting to see a slowdown already, indeed. Look at those blighters getting slower and slower. Yes, indeed. Although the frame rate is actually quite stubbornly staying at 24, as you can see. Rather than the game chugging, it's actually just simply starting to go slower and laggier.
Yes, most certainly. So they slow down, that's the sort of effect it's got, and we've got, 20 FPS, something like that.
Yes, indeed. So you can get an idea, Fiddles, of just how much toll all these mobs take on the Minecraft world. But the question remains, what will it look like in Optifine mode?
No, it remains, what if I flint them?
No, don't do that, Elby, please. Right, fellows, here we are, as you can see, with the mob spawning device once more in Optifine, and away they go, Els. Straight in, I said.
Yes.
Keep an eye on that frame rate, as you can see, and let's just turn the multiplayer settings of the chat off there, of course.
Yes.
Now, of course, indeed, we have 32 frames a second so far, but I believe now we're already starting to show signs of chugging there, fellows. We're slowing down already, now.
Oh, yes, it's chugging, but it's sort of chugging in a different way, isn't it?
I don't know. It's roughly the same. I think we have to call a tie on this one, fellows. It appears to be the same as regular Minecraft, you'll
Are you sure? What about
Oh, by George, no, El Chap, don't do that! Bert, for goodness sakes, man, turn the bloody thing off, I say! Goodness me. Now, of course, I dare say, indeed, fellows, I think that was roughly comparable to vanilla Minecraft, so there you are. It's mostly faster, but not always for particularly demanding things like that, you'll know.
It says off on my back.
Does it really?
Yes, look at that.
Optifine it must be, old boy.
Oh, yes, it's very clever.
Very clever. Next test, please.
Yes.
Now, fellows, let's take a look here at another statue. As you can see, by DVC, I say, we are going to this time, however, set the chunk distance up to 32 chunks, you know.
Right, so this is a very, very large statue, yes?
Right, thumbs up, I say. There we are.
Okay, yes.
Now, of course, fellows, currently we are set on a render distance of, let's see, 24. That was quite fast loading, but on 32 chunks, I wonder what happens to our FPS and our, indeed, general stability.
That's extreme, isn't it?
26 to 36 frames per second. It's not too bad, you know.
Not too bad.
As you can see, we have 35 FPS. It's not awfully bad. I think the chunk loading is actually quite fast here, from what I can see.
Yeah.
As you can see, despite the fact we have an absolutely honking great big statue here,
yes,
it appears to have loaded that quite efficiently. And we do have a bit of a slowdown, but we can indeed see all the way to the top of the statue there, and the overall performance is not too bad, you know.
Most certainly, yes, we can see it all. It's rather good.
Yes, everybody. Yes. But let us change back to Optifine once more and see again the difference that makes.
Right, okay.
Right, fellows, here we go with the Optifine test of the statue, I say. And we are going to crank it up once more for 32 chunks and see how it handles it, old boy.
Yes,
there she is, I say. It's coming slowly now, of course.
Running.
But look at this. We have 119 frames a second right off the bat there. Now, let's just go and set our render distance up to 32 chunks and see how it handles that one, I say.
Yes.
Can you hack that, my good man? It's 53. It's overall maintaining a higher and smoother frame rate. Very playable. 114. And, of course, the loading speed is more than acceptable, as you can see there. Going quite fast, although, of course, struggling a bit with perhaps the chunks we can't see.
Yes.
But indeed, as I said before, the ability to actually just go and play in your immediate surroundings with a very long render distance and at a reasonable frame per second is not to be underestimated. That is very, very good, I say.
Certainly. Well, why didn't I have this anyway then?
I don't know, but certainly some optimizations must have been carried out here, which have made the game a lot more playable. A couple of leg spikes here and there, but on the whole, very good.
Yes, not bad at all.
Not a bad show, I say. 32 chunks is jolly. I'm going down, but what's the next test there, chap?
Yes.
There you are, but it'll need statues in Minecraft. Now the question is, what's next, old boy?
Right, okay, now look, we should get a town and we should explode the town.
What?
Let's blow the town up because dynamite causes lag and everybody knows it.
Explode a town?
We must do it, yes, of course.
To test the dynamite?
Yes, to test the lag, of course.
Oh my word, stop those scripts at once, I say.
We'll do it, you see, with and without. We'll do it without first and then with Optifine.
Here it is, I say.
Prepare now for the explosion, please. Watch your FPS, please.
We do have a backup, fellows, don't worry. 24, 8 frames per second, fellows. 12, 6, and it really is chugging there. Don't worry. What you saw was actually a holographic simulation. It didn't really happen. We have a backup of the world. Calm yourselves.
I can't see much of the village left.
Don't worry, it's not real, but 8 to 12 frames per second in the middle of the explosion. And again, we're going to have to test that in Optifine, I do tell you.
We must do the test a second time, of course. Don't worry, Mr. Mayor. We'll put it all back together afterwards.
He's safe, don't worry. Now, videos, Optifine once more, I say, at 24 chunks there, videos. Let's have a look. Just a moment, old chap. There we go. It's off, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
I think, it's smooth. It is smooth. It was smooth there, Fidels. Yes.
It was sort of happened quicker, didn't it?
I think so. I think we have to give another point to Optifine there, Fidels. Indeed, it handled it on the whole quite well and quite smoothly. The last one absolutely chugged to a crawl, but there was a lot of dynamite there, and Optifine did perform admirably there.
Yes. It was rather more... Mr. Mayor's rather more pleased with... Oh, no, he isn't. Quickly, I think we better go quickly.
But, no, it doesn't really work like that, old chap. Now, anyway, there you are, Fidels. A most interesting outcome, I say.
Yes,
and what do we have next, old chap?
Yes. Well, you remember those 3D model things we did when we were in the town? It was all laggy.
Oh,
Why
yes,
don't we
I
show
do.
them that and see what it's like with Optifine on?
That's interesting. Of course, as you may recall, Fidels, recently we did indeed use a special resource pack of some sort which caused lag in the game because indeed it replaces some of the models in Minecraft with 3D versions thereof. Now, if we just scroll down and turn it on, as you can see there, we should indeed, when we get into the village, observe some lag. Firstly, I see some lag starting up there with the texture pack itself. But now, once more, we have the sword, as you can see, and some various 3D blocks. We are lagging all over the shop. Look at this, old chap. This is
5 FPS?
This is awful, old old boy.
My goodness me, the gerbils are working flat out and it's still not working.
I've never seen anything quite like this.
Hamsters.
This is a terrible frame rate, and we do indeed have quite a good machine on this particular Minecraft the computer is running on, I say. Yes. But as you can see, no indeed, the game will not be having any of that. The question is, can Optifine remedy our woes?
Oh, we'll have to go and have a look.
Let's dash along, Venails.
Yes, let's see.
Right, Venails, and we find ourselves again in Optifine with the new resource pack on. Now we are going to go to exactly the same place, the centre of the village, over yonder, and see what happens to our frame rate with this custom and rather demanding resource pack turned on. And oh my word!
It was very bad last time.
Oh, that's much better, old chap. Goodness me, yes. Of course, last time it was terrible, you know.
Move.
There are, of course, still leg spikes here and there, but as you say, I could hardly move last time. That's a very big improvement.
It most certainly is, yes indeed.
This is jolly impressive stuff, Venails. I have to say, Optifine has really hit the nail on the head here. This is a good show.
It most certainly is. Lots of points for them on that one, then.
Many points, indeed. Very, very satisfying outcome. Indeed, it seems if you use Optifine and perhaps that texture pack or other demanding things, that may be the way to go, turning Optifine on and staying away from vanilla Minecraft.
Most certainly, oh.
Lovely. Next test, please. Uncle Bill, yes. Next, please.
Right.
Well, that's a most interesting result, I must say, Venails. There we go. Now, what's next, old chap?
What about a load, just a load of arrows, firing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of arrows, because they're laggy, aren't they?
Oh, yes, oh, right. Right, of course, now, here we are back inside the village, and I dare say we have constructed here a contraption of sorts upon the lady's head, which can pelt the world with arrows. Now, of course, those arrows are themselves entities, so we're going to use that as another form of lag test to see how optimized Optifine is.
Right, okay, let's test it then.
Yes, over here we have the redstone contraption on the red here, and of course, all of these dispensers will fire forth arrows upon this clock basis. Once more, watch that frame rate there, Venails. Steady out off the air, you know. Yes, indeed, pelting the world with arrows, and we have already seen a drop to about 25, 28 frames a second there. Let's just get a view of where the arrows are landing.
Hundreds of arrows.
But indeed, as we drop altitude here, the frame rate slightly improved there, as you saw.
Ah, yes, you see.
Interesting, old boy. And just dropping down to ground level where the arrows are landing, let's have a look. Oh, yes, indeed, there we are. It's a rain, you know.
It's a rain of arrows.
And down here we have, I think, about, yes, indeed, a bit of lag starting there, 26 frames per second, so nothing quite like what we've seen before.
Right, let's do the test then.
We're going to have the tests in the Optifine world, Venails.
Let's have a look.
Right, Venails, here we are for the arrow wall test from the lady's head, you know.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, I say. Again, in Optifine here, on the 24 chunk render distance, and we're going to go to her bonds like so, and commence the arrow bombardment post haste.
Right, okay, now you fire the arrows and let's see what happens.
Bombardiering away, old chap. There we go, I say. Let's keep an eye on that frame rate as arrows pour forth from her head, I say. We have 91, 118 frames a second. It's eating it for breakfast, you know. Lovely.
Oh, certainly is. Right, land where all the arrows are falling then.
There we are, as you can see. Yes, indeed, very good view of the arrows, of course. There.
Yes.
And indeed, of course, 59 frames a second. It's holding very, very smooth there.
It's better. It's proved itself once again. Look at all these arrows down here.
Optifine's got lots and lots of points here, you know.
Most certainly, so that works too.
That's a frightful shower, old chap.
It's good though.
My word, there we go, Venails. Arrows galore and more.
Ha! So there we are.
There you are. Most interesting, Venails. Now, what's the next test, good sir? Now, Venails, observe this world is filled with statues and has many of these large buildings. And again, we are going to crank the render distance right the way up to 32 chunks this time, just to see what happens, I say.
Right,
let's have a look. As you can see, it should hopefully render all the statues in one fell swoop. But indeed, it's doing a good job at the moment, but it doesn't quite want to render over there. Can you see that, everybody? There's some definite lag going on here.
Definitely, yeah, start moving about then.
We're just going to move around a bit here, but indeed, fellows, it's taking its sweet time, you know. It doesn't like doing this, old chap.
There we are, 20.
It's doing it very reluctantly, old boy.
It is, yes.
10, 18 frames, 22 frames per second. It's quite slow, you know.
Yes, it's having a go, but there we are.
It's getting the job done, but I think perhaps a bit buggly.
Right, okay, so what about with Optifine on?
We're going to have to give this the Optifine works once more, Venails, and let's see what happens, I say.
Yes.
And here with Venails, once more, we shall crank that render distance right the way up to 32 chunks, I say, in the world filled with statues. And let's see what we have here. A 55 frames a second at the moment. We're just going to return to the block of dynamite over here. See if we can get there. Now, of course, we have some lag spikes here and there, but on the whole...
we're dropping a bit there.
Dropping a bit, perhaps, due to the extra content in the world there. It's certainly taking its time, old boy. I think where Optifine might perhaps suffer a little bit is with things that are further away from the player. As you can see, it takes its time doing this because it tries to give you a smooth gameplay experience nearby. So, although we do have one or two lag spikes, perhaps it's variable. And as I say, I think Optifine is best suited for up-close gameplay, which, let's face it, most of us play up close anyway, in mines and survival and that sort of thing, you know.
No, certainly. So we put it to the test, and it seems to work overall extremely well indeed.
Now, I think this particular one was a tie with Vanilla Minecraft, but on the whole, I think Optifine is our clear winner here, old chap.
Oh, it most certainly is. It's rather fun to use and it does work.
Yes, Venails, we do recommend it. Don't mind the 0 frames a second, old boy. That didn't happen, I said.
Didn't it? Oh,
no.
yes.
Oh, I see you found somewhere to stand, old chap.
Yes, look at that. A great big block of dynamite.
Great
Pretend
big,
really, but it's fun, isn't it?
Very big. Yes. Well, anyway, Fennels, there you are. It does see
Yes.
Optifine and the regular bit of Minecraft. We are certainly seeing some large improvements, and I think the game overall does benefit from those further render distances, the smoother gameplay, the overall more enjoyable experience that Optifine brings. The chap's done a jolly good job, your
Yes, well, the dynamite experiment was the best, because when we put dynamite down like this, just one piece, don't worry, and then we got it like that.
Yes.
And of course it blew up. Of course the render, the rate was great. The FPS.
It was the huge block of dynamite's blowing up, our chap. What the bloody place is there? It's going in a bloody slideshow, our chap.
What? Okay, test the rate and see what the FPS is.
What are you doing, man? It's gone down to a crawl. You can see that. You've crashed my belly machine. What have you done? I can't even see. Oh, for goodness sake. Don't do this again, Fennels.
Yes.
What's going on here, man? You're really bad, I say. 1 frame a second.
Zero. Well, I opted to do the test away from the village today. The mayor was fine with it.